bringing light to the global news. I am Pauline Joanna Bailon,
And I am Toby Uy,
your news anchors of the day. With the synergy and action of the global citizens and partners, the UK became the 74th signatory of the Safe School Declaration.
The significant impacts of wars and conflicts all around the world to the education system and safety has led not only the UK but also several countries into committing for safer schools.
As the citizens of the world, we can make an impact on our economy, environment, and the nation as a whole.
Living in a global civil society, let's be informed about the different organizations and institutions as well as the cosmopolitan principle and the international law.
With the efforts of the global citizens, the UK has now become the 74th signatory for Safe Schools Declaration. For further details on this, here is Ria Cabillan reporting.
Thank you. Yes, Pauline, I am here to cover the news update. It is by the year 2015 that the government of Norway and Argentina started to lead establishments for military purposes is ensured. This declaration was first opened for state endorsement at the Oslo Conference on Safe School in May 2015. By April 19, 2018 in New York, the UK Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson announced his government's endorsement of the Safe Schools Declaration at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in London. The United Kingdom became the 74th country to endorse this declaration. Back to you, Pauline.
Alright, thank you so much, Ria. Let us now move on for the next headline.
Conflicts and civil wars happening all around the world have caused a huge crisis in education. This led not only the United Kingdom into participation, but several states are committed to safer schools. To give a report on this, here is Yvette Bagona.
Thank you. Yes, I am live right here in Syria. To this day, Syria still faces a lot of difficulties as a result of the post-Syrian civil war and the current Israel-Hamas war, which erupted in October 2023. A lot of people are now displaced all around the world, resulting in the growing global refugees crisis. To give a little background, according to the UN press article, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees stated that 2024 is even worse than last year in terms of increasing refugees. Filippo Grandi reported that over 114 million people were displaced by war. He also highlighted that 5.6 million Syrian refugees in some European countries. The solution they are proposing is to send Syrians back to the so-called safe areas in the country.
Thank you, Yvette. But we all know that conflicts do not only affect a single country. Now let's call on Francis Valisgon to report about the condition of the neighboring countries. Francis?
Hello, Toby. Here in Myanmar, over 3 million people have already been displaced by the conflict, while the eastern portion of the Democratic Republic of Congo was labeled as dangerous. In Ukraine, international humanitarian law gets violated every day and displacements continues to increase. Turning to Sudan, 9 million people were displaced inside the country. Almost no child in Sudan has gone to school for months, and the outbreak of violence has caused appalling stories of sexual violence in Darfur and other war zones. It is clear that conflicts only results in a chain of disruptions and chaos. Representatives of countries also gave their sympathy, stand, and contributions for the citizens attracted by war. That is all. Back to you, Toby.
Thank you, Francis. Now let's proceed back to Syria. Kian, can you give us an update about the condition of education there in Syria?
Military actions in Syria have brought global attention because of its evident impact, not only to civilians but also to Syrian children. More than a third of Syrian schools have been destroyed or damaged, leaving 2 million children out of the classroom. The other 600,000 of these children fled their homes and are not in school anymore. Across the globe, there are a total of 246 million children experiencing some kind of school violence in the world today. This consequence of war is often overlooked despite how critical learning is for the children. According to UNICEF, education boosts economic growth and reduces poverty and inequality. It increases individuals' ability to lead a healthy life, participate in society, and restore peace and stability. Crisis in education not only hinders learning, but also the future of these children and the country.
It is so sad to hear that, Kian. Conflicts have a big impact on our citizens, especially on children. Fortunately, the UN member states started to make a movement to develop the Safe School Declaration. Atasha, how is the Safe School Declaration currently doing?
Way back in 2018, 25,549 people and children, 932 schools signed a petition urging the UK to sign the declaration. Tireless campaigning was also done by organizations and partners such as Send My Friend to School, the DCPSA, Save the Children, the Global Citizenship War. As of the current year, 2024, over 120 states have endorsed the Safe School Declaration, which remains open for countries to join.
It is great to hear that. More and more countries are joining for the sake of safer schools. But in relation to our country, the Philippines, do you think that we should also sign up in the said declaration?
Yes, Pauline, I believe that the declaration's objective is only for the best. It aims to protect the children and professionals for safe learning. Education should be prioritized too for the improvement of individuals and the body. In fact, the Department of Education also releases a statement of full acceptance and strong endorsement for the Safe School Declaration.
I agree with that. For now, let's just hope that our country will also be a part of the movement soon. For more news updates, please stand by as TCWD News will be back after a short break. We are the citizens of the world and we can make an impact in our economy, environment, and nation. To give us further details, here is Roniel Caballero reporting.
Global citizenship is the umbrella term for social, political, and environmental and economic activities of individuals with a global perspective, recognizing that people are not isolated entities but rather part of diverse local and non-local networks. It encourages individuals to act for the betterment of all societies, not just their own, through sustainable development. The concept of global citizenship is embedded in the Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDG 4, aiming to ensure inclusive and quality education for all, including global citizenship. By 2030, the international community aims to equip all learners with the knowledge and skills necessary for sustainable development, including global citizenship. Universities are tasked with teaching students about the global community and their potential to contribute through their education.
Up next, as people living in a global civil society, let's be informed about the different organizations and institutions, as well as the Cosmopolitan Principle and international law. Let's call on Kahil Ann for the news report.
Civil society, a concept in social science since the 1980s, is seen as a foundation for democratization and opposition in authoritarian nations like China. The market economy is what Hegel and Marx envisioned as civil society, but most theorists consider it to be separate from the state and the economy, depending on how it is defined and how powerful its constituent groups are. In terms of political and economical, global civil society can have different consequences. However, disrespecting government policies to establish connections with other citizens challenges the state.
Thank you, Karil. And that wraps up the hot issues for today. Once again, I am Pao.
And I am Toby.
Now signing off as your news anchors. See you again as TCWD News will always be on track in covering the latest news.